And welcome into another edition of the BIS podcast, broadcasting live as we always do on the Marvin Network. Hello, everyone. Josh Green here with you as always. And today, here on the podcast, are the holidays already here? How time flies. We're already almost at the end of 2023. Christmas is on the way, but hey, we got some deals working here at the end of 2023, some Black Friday deals, and we have none other to talk about it than our own Mark Wise. And Mark, thank you for being on the podcast with us. I know we got some hardware deals from Black Friday that we got going on. But first off, Mark, again, thank you for joining us here today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This is kind of my first time on the podcast, and I'm excited about it. So it's good to get going with it. So go ahead.
You're a hard man to get a hold of sometimes. You know how long we've been trying to do this.
I've only gotten one invite, so feel like that you've only asked me one time. So I'm not as good as the greats out there, the Sterlings, the Brandons and Brits and stuff like that, which are great podcasts, by the way. They were great. And if you haven't listened to them, you guys need to go back and listen to them. They were phenomenal. So
Well, Sterling, again, whole different level. Brandon and Britt, you just might be ahead of, but slightly below or ahead. Well, that's another story for another time. But
that
again,
is
thank you for joining us today, Mark. And
no
again, we
problem.
got some good deals going on for hardware. Black Friday deals. Kind of talk us through a little bit about what deals we got going on right now for BIS when it comes to hardware.
Yeah, end of the year's coming sooner than later. I know everybody's going to be out of the office. We have vacation coming up. There's going to be downtime that's in November for Thanksgiving and December is Christmas time. A lot of times the appraisal districts and the tax offices usually take off. Their employees usually take off this time just to make sure they're getting their time off and kind of resetting from the busy season and getting ready for the season coming up. So this is a good time for us, BIS, to come in and kind of swoop in there while everybody's kind of out of the office and kind of refresh machines, reset everything, and kind of get everything ready for next season. With that being said, end of the year comes end of the year deals. I know last year we had Blake Friday sales. It's kind of like Black Friday, but it's Blake. Blake's our IT manager. He had some sales that were going on that really pushed the envelope for replacing hardware for all the appraisal districts out there and the tax offices to get the hardware really refreshed. The whole point of it at the end of the year is to make sure that you guys are prepared for next year. Some of the deals that we have going on are for workstations, servers. We have some end of year budget stuff that if we can squeeze it in by the end of the year, Dell, HP, Lenovo has deals out there that we can actually jump on as long as we utilize the season and get it during Black Friday or get it during Christmas. It really helps with replacing the machines that need to be replaced out there.
Absolutely, Mark. I know one of the deals we're running on right now. Again, if anybody's interested, all the people listening out there, clients or who otherwise, if you want to email and get in on these deals, email us at our sales email, sales@bisconsultants.com. And the passphrase that we got going on, passphrase is podcast Black Friday. Again,
Podcast Black
passphrase,
Friday. That's right. Yep.
podcast Black Friday. I'll take it away, Mark. I'll let
Yeah,
you
yeah, you're
explain
good.
it.
You're good. So if you email us to say podcast Black Friday, into the support or into our sales inbox, and it's sales@bisconsultants.com, like Josh said, and then just kind of put something on there that you want and you need. This is hardware related. I know a lot of you. There's a lot of legislation changes this month or this year, but we're not doing discounts on that. It's specifically hardware and hardware where we can go out and do the installs. It's going to give you about a 20% discount on all hardware. Slots are filling up, so we need to make sure that if you do listen to this podcast, which is great, email at sales@bisconsultants.com, put hashtag podcast Black Friday, and you'll get 20% off the entire order. The caveats to all this is the hardware and installation we have to cover. So I know a lot of times a lot of people just buy the hardware from us and won't have us install it, which is perfectly fine. But on this discount here, we just need to make sure we're doing both of those. And again, it's on servers, it's on workstations, I know a lot of times chief appraisers are reaching out because they want to prepare for next season ARB sessions. A lot of the ARB sessions are held internally. They have a lot of technology issues. We handle the audio video for your ARB sessions. So I'll include that into the 20% off as well. Any kind of video you need to set up, laptops, wireless access points, any of that type of hardware that we can get out and get installed so your season for next year is prepared for. We're more than willing to get out there and do that and get that discount. Now, all that being said, the discount does go to the end of the year. So December 31st, 2023, it is over, and we can no longer do that discount. So just get on top of it and get out there and let's get some orders in.
Yes, sir. Indeed. Again, you heard Mark. Again, we'll be doing this deal all the way up until the end of this year, December 31st. So make sure you email us and get your information in to Mark or the sales team here at BIS by December 31st so we can get you that good deal. Hey, Mark, we talk about all these deals we're rolling out here for BIS, but also it's a good thing to update your equipment every 5 to 7 years. Now, Mark, people look out there, well, hey, it's still 5 to 7 years old, but hey, it's still working right. But why is it so important to keep your equipment updated?
That's a great question. Great question. With everything going on in the world today with cyber attacks, vulnerability is you're only vulnerable as the equipment that you're using or the people that you're training, right? So everybody talks about training employees, making sure they're clicking on the right links and all that stuff. But another important part of this is in the hardware, if you have 5 to 7 year old hardware, one and the OS is probably out of date, or even if the OS is not out of date, it needs to be updated on the hardware side because of the firmware. The firmware is vulnerable. The drivers are vulnerable on all these devices, and if we're not maintaining an up-to-date version of each of these on your PC, it does make it vulnerable to get into your network and cause many issues that all you guys don't want to dream of having. Good question.
Yes, sir, indeed. Again, make sure you always keep your equipment updated, but really take advantage of this deal we got going on right now here at BIS. Again, Black Friday, again, the passphrase is hashtag podcast Black Friday. Make sure you send that into our sales team. Again, the sales emails, sales@bisconsultants.com. Get 20% off your whole hardware order during this time, again, until December 31st. Well, Mark, again, we've covered the deals. We've covered, why you should keep your updated equipment. Anything that we may have left out or anything that you'd like to mention before we kind of sign it off here for this one?
I do want to mention go Rangers, Texas Rangers, baby.
Go Rangers, baby. Hey, we have finally, I was in high school in 2011, and I remember watching Game 6. I remember the catastrophe at hand. I remember just the falling apart, the emotions that ran out. I didn't even watch Game 7. I don't even remember, even hearing about Game 7 until after it was done because we actually had a football game that Friday when Game 7 was played. So, it's been a long time coming. Go Rangers. And hey, you know what? How about you take advantage of this great deal we got going on at BIS? And if you're a Rangers fan, and even if you're not, hey, the state of Texas is World Series champions again.
Yeah, we are. That is correct. Yeah. So yeah, take advantage of the 20% off discount on the hardware installation, and I look forward to getting out and seeing you guys getting this installed. So I appreciate the time here, Josh.
No problem at all, Mark. Thank you for joining us here today at BIS. Again, the passphrase, want to mention it one more time, passphrase podcast, hashtag podcast Black Friday, 20% off the order. Get on it again until December 31st. I want to thank Mark Wise for joining us here today on the Black Friday edition of the BIS podcast. So again, thank you, Mark, for joining us here today, and thank you all for listening. And until next time, so long and goodbye.